You see that, eh? Oh, it's kind of locked on there. Okay, well, I think that works. Now let's turn this one. So it's a similar setup. Grab this just in case. Okay, we have a similar good evening, everyone. I'm hoping that this works and that I can see comments, and I might have to stop in between, but let's hope that the setup that I have works for everyone, whether you're here on YouTube or you're here on TikTok. Let's hope they all work out well. Okay, I'm gonna move some of my stuff out of the way. It's relatively organized. It's a little disorganized, but it's relatively organized. So good evening, Wache. My name is Vanessa, and I am also known as the Quilter with a Heart of Gold, and I am here to sew with you. And I hope that you will have a wonderful time sewing with me this evening. We are working on the Flower Farm Sampler. It's a beautiful quilt with 18 different quilt blocks, very related blocks. You don't make just 18 blocks, you're making much more than that. I don't remember how many exactly are in the sampler, but a lot of the blocks we're making 2 of. So again, this is block 5, and you do need to have the book. Because I don't have any rights to the pattern or to the anything like that, all I can do is sew my block and answer any questions and just have some fun with you this evening. I know some of you have gone ahead and are a little bit ahead of the rest of us, but that's okay. I'm going to work on block 5. You can work on whatever block you're on, whether it's block 5 or maybe you're a little bit behind or you're just starting out. All of it is perfectly fine. We're going to have a lot of fun. So I try to come live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to sew a block with you. Let's see how it goes. I've had a few aches and pains today. I think I pulled a muscle in my lower extremities, and I think I might have plantar fasciitis again in my foot, which is very painful. But it doesn't seem to bother too much when I'm sewing, but we'll see how it goes. I was sewing earlier today. I was long arming, and that was so much, not long arming. I was doing binding on an industrial machine. Holy man, that thing just flies. I'll have to post the video. I was so impressed, and it worked so nice. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. There was something wrong with my machine. It was skipping stitches, and I was like, I don't have time to figure this out. So I just left it and used a different machine. So very cool. All right, so let's get started. So over here, I have cut all of my pieces for block 5. Wait a minute. Is this the right block? Yes, okay. I've cut all of my pieces for block 5, which is going to be absolutely wonderful. I have to roll over this thing here. I'm gonna move it out of the way. So you make 2 of block 5. So I have 2 cutouts here. And we're gonna make 2 of these. Oh, something fell off there. Okay, so I have 2. You have to make 2 blocks. They're 16.5 unfinished. I'm gonna make my blocks in 2 different colorways. Then this is block 6. I thought I cut block 7, but I guess I didn't yet. And I did the same thing with block 6. Did I? I changed up the colors a little bit, and I posted that in an earlier video on what I did. Okay, so let's get started. You need your A fabrics, your B, your C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay. And I did use so in the book, of course, she has her fabric that she's using, which may or may not be available anymore. You can use any color you want. And they do have a handy dander swatch sheet. So I didn't cut out my fabric. I simply printed a picture of the fat quarter bundle or the yardage or the collection bundle, and that's how I got my paper. And then that's actually not even mine, that's hers. Aha, this one's mine. So I just swapped it out. And then for all the background colors, I can either switch it out or use my white. I'm using a white background color for my Flower Farm sampler. And I swapped things out and changed things and made things a little different in my blocks because you don't have to just stick to, there's no rules in quilting. I think the only rules are to have fun and try to get that accurate 1/4 inch. I think that's about it. Oh, I think I forgot my blockheads pattern at work. Oops. I printed it out and I left it at work, but that's okay. All right, let's get right into this Flower Farm sampler. How she has the book laid out is you go from large blocks to smaller blocks. That's how we're going to do it, or how we've been doing it. And we're going to continue that all the way to 18 blocks. Then we'll work on the layout together. And that's always fun. I've made her Flower Farms, her Barn Star sampler, and it's very similar to this. All of her instructions on how to do all of the different techniques are in the front of the book. And then there's extra projects at the back. So you can make a project with 1 or 2 of the different blocks. So lots of variety, lots of fun. Let's get started. So we're going to take F. So all I'm going to say again is the size or the piece of the block, the piece of the block. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to do it 2 times because we're going to make both blocks at the same time. So I'm making a blue-green block and then a pinky block. Okay, because you can kind of see the blue-green. So let's take our F blocks. You should have 4 in each group. 1, 2, oops. You need 4. F, we cut 8, but we only need 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I have only 4. Okay, there was more there. Okay, so you have 4 in each, and then we're going to take our E fabrics. So that's these ones, and we're just going to do 2, 4. We're just going to do 4 of those. We just need 4 of the E. E is a square, a smaller square. In your fabric, what fabric is E? E is fabric 18, or whatever you chose to do with that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what I've done is I've used the dinosaur eggs. I'm using, good evening. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm using the same fabric in different colors, and I'm using Tulip Pink Roar as my palette. And I had either a half yard or a yard bundle of that. So we're going to stick this in the lower right corner, and we're going to stitch from corner to corner, side to side, diagonally right through there. And you're going to stitch right on the line. This is a stitch and flip corner. It's not going to go all the way to the top. It's just going to be here a little bit below that top. I don't think I have a very full bobbin tonight. So I'll probably have to stop partway through and change my bobbin, but that's okay. I have some ready to go. All right. So I did cut a little bit ahead. I'm excited for I did that. We're very busy at the studio, very busy. Hello, Laura. If you're on TikTok, it might take me a bit to answer your question because you're so far away. But I wanted to get the camera in a good view. What I really need to do is to figure out how to set up like a monitor that's close or something like that. That would work. But we're also on YouTube, so if you miss part of this, you can watch it there. So on the bottom right, we're putting an E square, then we're using F background, and we're using E. That was fabric 18. Whatever your 18 looks like tonight. And then we're just sewing it in the bottom right corner. You can draw the line from corner to corner. You're going to stitch right on the line. I'm using my diagonal seam tape. I don't normally draw the line unless I'm concerned that I might get a little wonky. or if it's, over 4.5 inches, then I draw it, because my extended table and my diagonal seam tape only goes so far. Right. So we're doing 4 of these. There was an extra one. Okay. I thought there was. It's like there is more than 4 here. Okay. So how these blocks work is we make a bunch of units. So we make corner units, center units, and we make what are those other things called? I don't know. Side units, corner units. So we make all of these different units, and then we sew those units together, usually in the form of a 9 patch, and then our blocks are done. Again, we're doing 2 blocks at the same time. You don't have to do 2 blocks. You can just do 1. This is a bonus or something else. You can just sew 1 at a time. That's completely up to you. The pattern is written to cut 2 at a time, and then to sew both of them at the same time. So just be mindful of that. Left my cutter over there. So let's just go over here, because that's where my snipper is, and my coffee is over there. That's why I was a little bit late coming on. I had to make a call. It's worth it. Definitely worth it. Okay. So now we're going to, I'm going to try to keep them separate, not because they need to be separate. They're totally different colors. But I think it'll make it easier. So I'm just going to trim right here. Grab this ruler. And we're going to trim on the diagonal, corner to corner. Now you can save this piece. I'm going to save it. And you can use it as leaders and enders. You can do, oh, I forgot to drop that thing off to that lady. You can do whatever you need to do with it. You can do with it. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. Okay, so there we go. Those are trimmed. So I'm just trimming a 1/4 inch away. I could use scissors, but because I want to use the other piece, I want to be a little bit more accurate, a little bit more careful, a little bit more cautious. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Hope everyone's doing well. It is a nice week. We're having a good week. I have a lot of staff away this week at CreFest, so they're in Chapleau already. I will be in Chapleau tomorrow. My quilt's been on display for the past 2 days. That makes me happy. I hope people are enjoying the piece, and it's not too traumatizing, or it's not painful to look at. It is about missing and murdered women, Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirited. Well, actually, any missing Indigenous people. This one focuses on our sisters and the red dress, and so I have a quilt that reflects that. I will show you it tomorrow because I haven't done that yet. So if you're in Chapleau or heading out that way, it's kind of off, not on the beaten path, it's kind of off, kind of out of there, a different place to be. But if you're going to be at CreFest, I hope you'll come and say hi and have a conversation, and we have a table there. Maybe you've already seen everything. You just let me know. So I hope that you can see everything. If you can't see on TikTok, I apologize. Let me know, and I will try to adjust it. But I will try to talk so that you hear everything. So those little pieces that I'm keeping, I'm going to make this one, little funky blocks with it. Like this one's kind of a little cuckoo because I messed it up, but I'm going to leave it. But mostly I'm going to make little pinwheels. And those are all from cutoffs. All right, so I have my 2 units made. Let's see if we have to do anything else. I think these are done. So these are done. These are finished. So the bottom right unit. So my pink block, because you're making 2 blocks, and then my blue-green block. Trying to keep everything separate so that I know what I'm doing. It might help. I don't feel too bad today. I feel pretty good, so I think we're going to be okay. That was an extra piece. So now we're going to take H, and E. So H is the little smaller blocks. There should be 4. They're the background as well. Whatever your background is, my background is just a plain white. It goes a certain way. So make sure you have it going whichever. It's not completely square, right? It's cut. One side is half an inch bigger. So just be mindful of that and make sure you lay it out so that the extra part is on the left side. Okay? So be mindful of that. If you look in your book at number 2, it shows you, and you're going to take 4 E-squares again. 1, 2, 3, and 4 of both your blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're using the same color for both blocks, you just need 8. All right. Then you're going to line them up on the bottom right corner, just like we did before. And what they're going to do is they're going to hit at the top, but you're going to have a little bit, about half an inch. It should be about half an inch on the side. You're going to have a little bit left over. That's how it's supposed to be. That's what we're going for. Do we know what we're doing? We're making the corner units is what we're doing. Do we know? I don't know. Different way of doing it. I guess it gives us that extra little background. This will be really cute. So again, I'm sewing the 2 blocks at the same time in 2 different colorways. I tried to keep it easy for myself and use the same fabrics, just in different colors, because that really helps. So today at the studio, we had some Indigenous women come in from Pikangikum. They're here. Well, they're not here in Timmins. They're coming to do some shopping, but they're evacuated from Pikangikum, and they were coming in to do some shopping. And they stopped by our studio. There was arrangements made by a friend of mine for them to stop in at the studio, which is super cool. I was so happy that they came in, and one of them, Bella, she stopped in, and she's a survivor of residential school. So I had a beautiful quilt, a purple quilt. Someone made all these beautiful purple blocks. I was able to gift that, to present that. Sorry, I like to say that better than gifting. It sounds like you did something and you deserve it, but presenting a quilt to her. And she took one home for her husband and one home for their chief. So that was really cool. So we are well over 1,200 quilts delivered this year. I don't remember if it was 1,260. I feel like it was at 1,260 something, and we're over 7,600 quilts. There's a comment, I can't see it, and I need to get my eyes checked. Also, I need new glasses. Did you say Timmins? Yes, I live in Timmins. Can you let them know how they can daily? Oh, yeah, I live in Timmins, Ontario. Ontario, that's where I live. Our studio is in South Porcupine, which is just a little east of, I don't know why they say South Porcupine, because it's east of Timmins, but south of something. Almost. I got family in Cochrane. Oh, that's cool. Well, my last name is Jenny, and lots of I'm related to all the, well, when I was married, I was related to all the people through my husband, to all the Jenny. So that's lots of people in Cochrane. There's a good quilt shop in Cochrane as well. She's awesome. She's got lots of great stuff. Okay. So now, what do we need to do? Okay, so we're going to trim these. We're going to make our unit. So I'm putting through a bonus block, so you might not be doing that step, but I like to chain piece. I don't like to cut my pieces apart, and I like to chain piece so I don't get all of those crazy long threads. That just annoys me. So if I can avoid making them, I'd rather do that. Okay. So I have these on. I did mix them up a little bit, but it should be okay. Let's grab our little cutting board. If I need to, I'm going to swing over here and cut on the larger mat, but for now, I can cut here. And you can see. So you could draw another line and sew 1/2 inch away or a little bit more than 1/4 inch away to save that. I like to cut it and then just sew it again, because this unit that I'm making right now is more important than my bonus block. So we're making the Flower Farm sampler. Excited to make it. And we are using the book by Shelley Cavanagh. Oh, why I remember that, because I'm terrible with names. And you can get the book from any quilt shop that's selling it. You can get it from somebody's Etsy shop or on the shop app, or I got mine on Amazon. Wherever you buy your books, or wherever it's sold, I guess. Support local. None of my local shops were selling it, and shipping was just cheaper with Amazon, so that's why I bought it there. I am not associated with any store or anyone. And yeah, that's just where we're at. Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. Close that up. Put on that. Now we're gonna just does it say if we're supposed to press it the same way? I'm gonna check. Yeah, press down. Both of them are pressed. Press towards the corner, the fabric that you just put on. In my case, it's my darker fabric anyways. If you're a person who presses open, I'm sure you could do that. The pattern does not say to do that, but you can. I don't press open. As a rule, I just don't do it. Okay. And then these shouldn't change in size. They should still be the size that we cut those squares at. So you can check it if you need to. Again, I can't give sizes on this particular, over these lives, because it's not my pattern. And I don't have any rights to the pattern. You have to buy the pattern. Okay, and it's an easy pattern to follow. Fairly easy. Just want to check to make sure that I did this correctly. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, because they all look about the same. So if I did one right, I did them all. The only thing you want to be cautious of is that you have that 1/2 inch bigger is going horizontal, so that you have that extra little bit there. Okay. So now you're going to take let me show you what we're going to do. I'll get a design board just to make life a little easier, so I can show you. All right, so you're going to take your blocks. Now, if you have, you could be doing everything in one color. You could be changing it up like I am. So you're going to take the first unit that we made, the longer rectangle unit, the shorter semi-rectangle unit. Okay, you're going to line them up like that. And then you're going to take some C squares, of which you should have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think I cut. I don't think I cut extra. 1, 2, 3, 4. I tried not to cut extra. Okay. All right. Then you're going to take these. This one has a bit of a whatever in it. Okay. A bit of a crease in it. So now we're going to put those there. So I, again, am making 2 squares. Like everyone else, we all need 2 squares. I'm making mine in 2 different colors. So how cute is that? So now we're going to sew these 2 blocks together, and then we'll sew this to the top. We'll sew this on after we do that. So let's do that to both blocks. Again, I'm sewing both blocks at the same time because they're made exactly the same way. And I'm just making one pink and one blue and green. Maybe it's pink and peach, but I don't know. They both look pink to me. So That's what we're doing. So if you're sewing along, I hope you're having fun. You're enjoying it. It feels good to sit in peace. I haven't done that in a while. What did I do last night? Oh no, last night I sewed a little bit. I did sew a little bit. I was so tempted to sew these together, but I didn't. And like this. And then I'm going to sew these two together. So exactly the same way for the second block. Again, I just changed my color. Because why not, right? Why not? And I don't think that these were even picked as colors for the block when I did my swatch. But I'm really excited to make these. I think they're gonna look great. So this flower block is called Dahlia. And I think this book's gonna look absolutely amazing. So if you're just joining, welcome. We are making block 5 of the Flower Farm Sampler from Shelley Kavana. And it's block 5. You made 2 of them, and they are unfinished at 16 and a half. So now we've got that piece done, and it says to press towards the left, right. Okay, so let's trim all of these off. I do recommend pressing them before you sew the top piece on, just to ensure a nice accurate block. Right, so we're going to set those seams like that. I'm going to press towards that full block. Remember, in quilting, we're pressing, we're not ironing. We don't want any pleats or folds in our fabric. We just want a nice flat seam. As flat as we can get it, anyways. Okay. And if you're not sure if you should be a person who presses their seams open or presses it to one side, excuse me, ask your long armor. If you're going to hire someone to long arm, ask them. Ask them what they like. Do they like your seams pressed to the side or pressed open? Some long armors have a preference. I would say press to the side. And all of the quilts that I've long armed for the studio and for myself, I definitely like the ones that are pressed to the side. I feel like it's just easier to long arm, but that's a personal preference. Others might see things differently. So now that we have that piece together, we're going to take our first unit that we made and we're going to put it on top to finish off the center block. And this should finish at 6 inches. I don't think that's giving anything away. Okay, 6. I knew I was going to run out of volume. I could probably do all 4 of these and then I can change it. It beeps and I always have I have a little bit left. So I like to make sure that I use up everything that's in there, because otherwise I just throw it out and that seems like such a waste. My order that I placed has been shipped, so I'm getting some bolts, full bolts of fabric. I'm getting black, which isn't that exciting, but I needed it for something. I don't remember what I wanted black for. I don't remember why I wanted black now. And then I didn't know. Then I ordered, what other color did I order? I ordered 2 other colors. I needed thread. I did order thread. one's, well, I'm just worried about the tension on that. I'm gonna have to just do that one. I ordered a bluish gray, and then I don't remember the other color I ordered. I guess it wasn't white because I have a bolt of white, but I needed some. I don't know why I needed black. Hmm. Hmm. Maybe I just did it because I don't have it. That could be. I don't know what I was thinking, but anyways. All right, so these are done. We're just gonna move them to the side. We changed the bobbin because it needed to be changed, and I always have 7 or 8 on the go anyways, bobbin. So I make when I always make 7 or 8 bobbins, and then those run out of the natural color that I use. I use Aurifil something. I don't number's not in there. 2306, I think is what I use. It's like a creamy white. Creamy white. Is that even a color? Yeah, it's like a cream. Maybe, and it's fine. I like it. It goes with everything. You can't see it. It's not pure white. I have used pure white and found that with some colors, it really shows up. This cream seems to do a little better. I ordered some of those, but the other color that I ordered, well, I'll show you when it comes in. But it's been shipped. So that was exciting because who doesn't like getting new fabric? All right. And I've been using for my solids Colorworks by Northcott. And that's what this white is here. This one seems like it. This one needs to be trimmed. I wonder if I should. I think I'm going to trim it. So this is supposed to be whatever size it was to begin with. Okay, I just needed to check the size. I wasn't completely sure. So what I'm going to do is just lay this on here. This ruler is the size I need, and I just have a little bit in that corner. If it was the upper corner, I would have just left it. But because it's the lower corner and I'm joining it to the other piece, I went and trimmed it. And I didn't trim any of the other ones because they didn't need me. Or again, if it's on the outside perimeter, then I'm going to square up anyways. I'll trim it then. I trim these blocks to the size they're supposed to be. So now it's supposed to be a square, and we're going to go check if they are a square. We're going to press them up towards that rectangular piece that we did at the beginning. That's what the instructions say. You can, of course, do whatever. You can press it open if you want, but again, if you follow the person who made the pattern, if you follow their instructions, you're gonna get your pieces nesting because they've already thought of all that. If you press this one this way, it'll do this, or vice versa. Okay. So we're just gonna set that seam and roll it back. Just set that seam. And we're going to check them. I am going to check them, but I'm going to set them aside. It looks like there's a comment. I'm going to get up and read it so I can see it. Oh, just as someone joined. Send gifts for a while. Oh, hasn't sent a gift. You can send a gift if you like. We really appreciate all the gifts that you send, and on TikTok, that is. And if you're watching on YouTube, hello, hello. If you're watching this after the fact, hello, hello. Get your copy of the pattern. And oh, that one was supposed to be pressed up. And so along, because we're having so much fun. But I'm a bit of a nut. I just love to sew. What's that way? I think I pressed those the wrong way now. Now I'm thinking, I think I pressed those the way. Well, we'll just deal with it when we get to it. Should I press them? Yeah, I pressed them perfectly the wrong way. That's okay. We'll make them nest. Okay. Make it work. So let's check. Now my mat is, this mat is too small to check because they're bigger. You can see they're bigger than my mats. So I'm going to just move over here and I'm going to see. I'm going to line this up. So I'm just taking my ruler and I'm lining it up on all four sides to ensure that it is the size that I want. I'm going to double check because it's easier to sew blocks together when they are the size that you want them to be. That's fine. They're pretty good though. And this has taken me a couple, it didn't come naturally to me to make these, to sew things and for them to come out the size that I want. It's taken a lot of work for me. I found it's taken a lot of work for me to get things where they're accurate. Where I am cutting things off and I'm going, damn, it's too small again. Damn, it's too small again. So I find that that's really, oh, that seems so wonky. That was just wonky. So here's a little bit wonky. I don't know why. Should be okay. It should be able to get it to work. But it is a little wonky. Right, one more to check. And I like to check them all because you just never know. Or if it is slightly smaller, I'd like to know too. Okay, so there is in my green, blue, and my pinks. That's our corner units. You need 4 because there's 4 corners in a block. All right, our next step, and I like that the blocks that we've been making are 2 pages in the book. There's 2 pages to make the block. It's not a lot of work. You're not sewing. I've made 12.5-inch blocks that have had over 100 pieces in them. My goodness, that was a lot. They looked awesome. And once I got the hang of how to make the blocks, it went really well. But as I was learning to make the blocks, it was torture, absolute torture. All right. So paying careful attention to the angle of the seam. So E to the upper left corner of a B. So we're going to take a B and we're going to make 8 of these. Okay. So just 8. No, just 4. 4 of each color. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're changing your color, or 4 for each block because we're making 2 blocks at the same time. So let's grab 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, same fabrics, different colors. How fun is that? Okay, so now we've got to be careful of our placement. Draw your line if you need to, press your line, or use your diagonal seam tape if it works. Then you're going to take E squares. So you're going to take 4 E squares again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Move my background pieces. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Perfect. So now you can draw the line, or we can just use the diagonal seam tape. So making sure that we're putting these on the left corner. Okay? The left corner. And it's going to fit all the way at the top and all the way at the bottom. So make sure. Okay? And then we're going to sew from corner to corner. From the upper right to the lower left. That's how we're going to do this, okay? And I like to sew starting at this, like this part at the top on the seam, as opposed to starting in the corner, because then it doesn't get stuck in my feed dogs and under my pressure foot. I don't want to. So I do like when that works out. All right, let's do it. Now I'm going to do my second block. So that was 4 for the one block. And here's my second block. In my fun pink colors. I like that. All right. So you're going to do it 4 times for each block. Again, making 2 16.5 unfinished galleries. Okay. And then bonus block. Now we're going to go and trim these off and press to the corner. Okay. To that upper left corner. Right. So we're going to cut these apart. I cut these on my little mat now, so we're going to cut these off. And get little bonus blocks. What I did last time we sewed together, because we missed last week, the week before, was I sewed all my bonus blocks in the same evening. I was just like, I cannot have any more. I have all these still to sew. And I was like, nope, I'm done. I think there's a comment or something. So I'm going to check it out. Just give me a minute. On TikTok, there's a little comment. There's nothing on Facebook. There's a couple people on. I don't know if they're on anymore. Joined. Okay. And aren't. Okay. Oh, it just says you've joined. Okay. Lots of people are on. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are working on the Flower Farm Sampler Block 5. And you make 2 of them. And they are unfinished at the 16.5. Okay. I can't give you any cutting instructions because it's not my pattern. You have to get the pattern and then you can sew along with us. And it's a fun pattern because you get, 18 different blocks in different sizes. And then at the back, there's some bonus projects. Okay. Oh, and which way are we pressing? Let me grab my. Oh yeah, up towards the corner. I think I did say that already, but I wasn't 100% sure. Righty. These are going to be so cute. The little dinosaur eggs with the star. I don't know where this fabric comes from. It's not from Roar. It is not from Roar. It is from somewhere else. I bought them when I was at Quilt Canada in Toronto in June. That's where they came from. I don't know. I just bought a fat quarter. And I'm able to put it in these blocks. So that was fun. But I don't know which collection it's from, but it is, I know it's hers. I know it's Tula Pink. I just don't know where it's from, but it's not from Roar. It was something I added extra to make the block look the way I wanted to look. Now, I am not the best at color matching and all of that fun stuff, but I do the best that I can, and I learn from every block that I make where I've chosen the fabrics. And I do rely a lot on designers to help me by using their fabrics together with their solids, with solids that work with them, and all of that kind of stuff. Because it makes my job so much easier because I have, I don't know, maybe color dyslexia or something, where I think things look great and it's not as great. So I rely heavily on the experts. And maybe you do too. All right, so now these are not finished. We need to do something else to them. So we're going to take our A blocks. We're going to take 4. So 4 A blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4 for our first set. Excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 A blocks for our second set, okay? Now again, my 2 blocks are different colors. You can do whatever. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay. So now these are gonna go, no, wait. No, that's right. These are gonna go, pay careful attention again, and you're gonna sew this square on the upper right corner in the same way as you did the other unit. Just be mindful of where it is. And if you need instructions on stitch and flip corners, that's on page 10 of the book, it says. And you're gonna sew now from, you're not making a flying geese. You're not making a flying geese unit, okay? So that should help you with where you sew. So I'm actually turning my thing upside down so I can sew from the bottom straight edge as opposed to the corner. Because I don't like sewing starting at the corner. They don't always get stuck when I'm chain piecing, but they can. That's where the chain piecing out. But I still prefer not to start in that corner if I don't have to. Okay. So far, so good. Looking awesome. Oops, don't start in the corner. One thing I will say for chain piecing is it helps me stay focused and it keeps me consistent. As long as I start out consistent, I start out accurate. If I start out wrong, well, if I'm making 4 of them, they're all going to be wrong. If I don't catch it. If I catch it, then I can correct it. And I still make quite a few mistakes. Oh, not to be upset. If I didn't keep going after making a mistake, I wouldn't have made any quilts. And I really love to make them. Okay, so now this one, I want to make sure that when I flip it, he's not upside down. There's a big T-Rex here, and I want to kind of keep him going. I think he needs to go this way. Will he still be, oh, he won't, well, whatever, we'll just do it this way. You're gonna miss part of him because he's only a cut. He's only a partial square, which is all right, mister. Okay, so now I'm going to sew this. If I was sewing and not sewing with you, I would just do the next step. I would sew the next step and then the next step, and I would just keep sewing until I had to stop to put these together or to trim something. It's just how I work. I'd rather take less steps over to the iron or take a lot to the iron or to the cutting mat and do that. And if you've ever watched my lives, you've seen me do that. So I just sew and sew till I have to do something. Something needs to be pressed or cut or trimmed or whatever. That's just how I work. That's how I get. I think that helps me get a lot done. So again, you can check to make sure. You should have your piece from last time up in the corner, in the upper left corner, and then the lower right corner, you should have another little triangle that we just sewed on. So before you cut it, check. I say this because the other day I cut something and I had to go get a new piece because I did it wrong. Actually, I think I have the remnants of said fabric. The one that I made a big one. And I mean, you're bound to make an error. That's why we all own a couple of seam rippers, right? That's why we buy the extra fabric, even if we only need, if the pattern says 1 yard, we're going to buy 1.5 or more if we really like it, because need that room for error or changes that we want to make. I think this is going to be a really fun blog. It looks really great in the picture, and I hope that my placement of fabric works out. I don't have that visual, I'm not able to see it in my mind's eye. So I just hope that the colors I've picked work out. And I don't have any kind of software program where I can like punch it in and be like, okay, how is this going to look? Well, I don't have that option. So I'm just, you see finished product the same way I will. First time, not knowing, is this gonna work? I'm pretty sure we just press it out. Nope, we press it towards, okay, this one we press the other way. So we're gonna press it the other way. So we're gonna lay it down. And we're just gonna, good thing I checked, press it towards that center fabric. Good thing I checked, or my things would not nest very nicely. It's a different color. I'm just gonna move it. Okay, let's just set these. Weird fold there. So we're just making sure that there's no pleats, no fold. It's pressed really nice. That's all we can ask for. Set and roll back and get it nice and pressed. And then again, set and oops, roll it back. So both our seams are going in the same direction is what they want. And we'll probably press the next one that we make in the opposite direction because we're going to make another one going the other way. So these, the finished size shouldn't change your rectangle, should still be the same. And I'm just checking to see what it is. I'll use this one because I think this one needs to be trimmed. It's supposed to be a certain size by a certain size. I think this one is one. I'm going to check. Can't be that size. Oh, okay. I was like, it can't be that size because I'd have to cut off an awful lot of this fabric. Just a small smidge there. I might as well just check. I think the other ones are okay. That one was probably the wonkiest of them all. Oh yeah, half. That one is a little bit. Oh, that one's okay. Okay. And sometimes pressing it that way, just okay. I think all of these look pretty good. Yep. Okay. So that's our 2 units done there. This is to help make the center, no, not the center, the I don't tell you what it's called. It's the middle unit anyways, not the center of the block, but the middle of the side. So there's our block. And of course I have it in 2 colors. So super cute. All right. Let's go do the next one now. So again, we need our bees. We're going to do 4 bees or 8, depending, 4 for each one. Then we're going to take our 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 E fabrics again. Yep. And then we're going to take our 4 E fabrics over here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're going to sew the opposite way. So watch, we're going to sew this one to the bottom left corner. To the bottom left corner. So we're going to sew opposite. I'm going to sew from this. Just a second. We're going to sew it this way. Okay, so watch your direction. Look at your book and follow the direction. So I'm putting it on the left side and I'm gonna sew from this bottom one up. So we're gonna place this on. Now you can take all of them and place them all. Draw a line if you get confused. And then just sew them through. All right, now we're gonna do the other one the exact same way. I'm just swapping out colors. Okay. So if I have them all coming out the same way, then I know that I'm sewing it correctly. If you're behind or having trouble keeping up, I have been told that I sew rather fast. But it is available on our YouTube channel, Quilts for Survival. And it's recorded here as we work together. Recorded live, which is fun. I do live so we don't have to edit it. We don't edit it. I just post it after it's done and all the little things are in there. I don't go and see where they put the advertisements or anything. So I apologize if you watch it. It's a little wonky. Okay, so now we've got all 8 of them. Four for me, 4 in one color and 4 in another. Maybe for you, it's just 8 pieces, 4 for each block. There's no right or wrong, remember. There's no right or wrong when it comes to quilting. You do what works for you. I mean, you could go crazy and make every block, just go wild and have so much fun with these blocks. I didn't check which way we press this. This gets again pressed out. Oh no, these get pressed towards the center, not out, towards the center. Okay. Towards the center. Just like we pressed last time, this part is going to get pressed that same way. Okay? Just like how we were pressing the last little bit there. Okay, so you should have 8 of these if you're doing both blocks at the same time. Otherwise, you'll just have 4. It's totally personal preference. How you do that, if you do that. One or so, I know someone said they sew one, and someone said they just sew both. And then I know one lady is ahead. She talked to me about it. She's like, oh my gosh. And I don't remember what block she was on, but she was like, it's so confusing. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know if she kept going or if she stopped. She didn't say, but she's local here. She's here. But she said she was just so excited she had to make more blocks. And I thought that was really fun. I feel the same way, but I'm having trouble holding back. I want to just sew them all. And I was like, maybe I should sew one so that I have one ready to show. But I haven't done that yet. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I do enjoy making these with you and sharing and talking. Even I'm annoying, but I'm not trying to be. So I see. I find this is an awkward way to iron. And it just seems like it should be pressed out, but I guess you can't press them all out. That just seems more natural to me. Okay. Oops. Don't come back. Even just leave it there for a couple of moments just to make sure it's really nice and flat. I was really concerned, or if one was being really difficult, I could always throw the clapper on it. That would really help it to stay and lay as flat as possible. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. All done. Now we need to put the other fabric, that A fabric, on it again like we did last time. So let's do that. So I'm going to separate my 4. I'm not checking to see if everything is trimmed. I'm going to do that after I sew my second piece on, just in case. So this is actually the bottom. This will go in the top right. Right? Let me check what it says. 5, yes. Then sew a square in the upper right corner the same way. There you go. Same way, and if you need those stitch and flip instructions, they're on page 10 of the pattern. Okay, so we're going to sew, oops, I almost grabbed 2 of those. We're going to sew this, and we're going to sew, we want it to go in the upper right corner, so that way. Yep, I like how that looks. Mine is a funky print. So I want to be mindful of that. Now, I want to try to keep part of this fella's head face. So let's see, if I lay him this way, I think I'll get part of his face. I'll get an eye, get a T-Rex's eye. I don't want a Tyrannosaurus. Joe would know. Joe was here. So they're not here this week. They are at summer camp. And it's not going so well for them. They are very homesick. I did go see them yesterday. That's how I know. They are homesick. But their counselor, I had a good conversation with their counselors. So I checked in to see how, they were doing, and I brought the dog so they could see the dog, and, just gave them some love. And they were okay. But they both asked to come home. And I was very tempted to bring them home. But the reasons they were complaining wasn't anything serious. It was more like, my bed, it doesn't feel like my bed at home. Well, no, of course not. And then, oh, shit. Sorry. Oh, no, that's right. Okay. I thought I was doing it wrong. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. What was I saying? Yeah, they're, they don't put us to bed at the same time they do at home. We don't eat the same food. We don't blah, those type of things. So nothing where it was like they were not okay or they were sick or something. So it was okay. It's hard as a mom to see them and to be like, no, Mom's gonna come get you on Saturday. That was the plan. And again, I did talk to their counselors. And they said you're doing okay. Yeah, they said the first 2 days are the worst. Oh, there's another T-Rex. The first 2 days are the hardest, especially because they've never been away from home without a family member. So no grandma, no dad, no mom, no big sibling. So it's a little harder for them. And they're not super extroverts. They're not. They are more of an introvert. So I think they get that from their dad. Because I'm clearly not an introvert all the time. So a couple of these bonus blocks as they're piling up here. And they're driving me crazy. Okay, one more. I'll go trim this. Okay. But something I learned a few years ago was, because you're always learning. There's always time to learn. At my age, I'm not super old, but I'm never done. But I realized that I am very much an extrovert. I do like to socialize. I like to be with people. I like to do things with people. But I realized that I recharge by myself. So if I am tired or just, if I feel overwhelmed or just exhausted, I know that I need to go and take some time and be by myself and just be quiet. That can include the kids. It's not that I don't, need the kids, but sometimes I need to just be completely alone. But that's what I have found, is that I need to recharge. I recharge alone. So if I had a busy day at work, I'm not necessarily going to go out and have a busy evening as well. Unless it was something, that I need to do, then I'll have to sometime If I have a very busy week, maybe the next week will be less busy so that I can recharge. Often it means I come up here and I work on something. Okay, I think I got directional fabrics going in the right direction. I don't think I have flowers upside down. I mean, I might because they're going to go all over the board, but it is what it is. All over the board, all over, like the blocks are going to be in all different directions. But I'm trying. Can be a little. There we go. Okay, so let's see. Now these just get pressed normally right out. Oh yeah, that looks good. Okay, these just get pressed. I don't know, not the normal way. I shouldn't say that. A more simple way. They just get pressed out, which is easier to press, in my opinion. That other way just seems difficult and wonky. But it will help with the nesting, which is what we want, right? You don't see any comments, so I'm just going to keep sewing and trying to chat away here and keep you up to date on what I'm doing. Okay, so now fun part. So this is what we just made. We made 4 of them for each block. Again, I'm doing 2 different colors, so I have 4 of each colorway. Okay. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take my board just so that I don't mess things up. I'm going to lay these 4 this way. Okay, then I'm going to make my other. Oh, I'm going to do this color first. Yes. Yes. Okay, so they kind of radiate down from a light to a medium to a dark, at least in the pattern. And mine kind of do the same thing. That's kind of cute. Okay. I think that's going to, now maybe when I was trying to do directional, they're not going to be that great, but oh well. They'll work out in some of the blocks. And then we're going to sew our G's on top. A little strip of background, whatever your background is. Mine is just a white. Just a simple white. I kept it white because it went with all the fabrics that I have. And there was no low lights there was no low lights in this collection really. Like an extra background or something you could use as a background. At least not that I seen. And I'm using the Roar by Tula Pink. I love her fabric. I can't say I've always loved her fabric because I don't even think I knew about her. But when I found out about her, then I loved her. And I don't have all her collections. I never did. But I really started in the last couple of years, really gone into her fabrics. And I'm excited to use them. And I was really excited to use the Roar to make these because I thought, they're Flower Farm samplers and I'm using dinosaur prints. Like, yes, please. Yes, please. I'll have to see what background I want to, what 108. She also makes really good 108. I have to order some because I have a few quilts I need to do. So I hope all your pieces are nesting well. Mine seem to be, even though the pressing seemed backwards, it seems to be going well. It seems to be working out really well for me anyways. I hope it's going well for you. Oh, my best. No pressing, organizing. Go. It's going well. It's definitely going well. I like it. Okay. Just kind of moving everything in place. I don't use pins, as you can see. I just really focus on what I'm doing. And I can feel with my fingers if my seams are nesting. And I just adjust. And I always sew where my needle can stop in the down position. That really seems to help. Just watching to make sure. We're almost done. We really are. I'm not just saying that. We are really almost done. Okay. It gets hard for me. I put saying that. We just, yeah, all we have to do is make our center unit, which is actually really easy. It's our D. It's our D. I have extra pieces. I think I have extra pieces because it was halfway through that I changed, or I was realizing that I don't have to cut all those squares because I only need 4 of them for each block because I was cutting too many. So I have too many cut, but I can use them for something else. So we're gonna do corner square. So I'm gonna sew this now. You don't have to. I'm gonna take my D square, I'm gonna sew A squares in the corner to make my square and a square. So that by the time I am done sewing all of this, that square and a square should be done too. Okay. Woo. I think we have to cut. Yeah, I think we have to. We can do opposite corner and then see opposite. Okay. All right. Oh, that's bonus block. And I'm just throwing all of my bonus blocks into the bin here. And I've been trying to trim them, press them and trim them. I'm not using my clearly perfect for those. I am just pressing and trimming. It seems to be easier for me. Pressing it. Oh, this one you press out. You press open this seam, this center seam. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to press it to whatever side it goes to. That's what it's going to get to. And I will trim this up after I put that white strip on the top. Then I will square it up to whatever size it says. 5.5 by 6. Telling you that I don't think is going to help you very much. Okay. This is super cute. I am loving it. And it goes on the top so I can just trim the some of my bottoms seem a little wonky. If you're finding it's way too bulky, just press it over. If you wish, or just, it'll just be bulky. I don't find it that bulky. I'm not too worried about it. Just want to make sure that that block lays as flat as I can get it. I'm looking for a nice flat block with no wonky seams that I pressed wonky. Because one time I had a block that was not the right size, but I repressed it and then it was fine. So sometimes it's my pressing. I should have put that in my thermos because it's cold and my coffee's cold. My coffee's cold. Okay. So it doesn't matter which block I sew these white strips to, because they all get a white strip at the top, regardless of what block they're in, whether they're the pink block or the green block, doesn't matter. They all get the same white strip. And these are cut, so this is going together well because they're fitting well onto the unit that I made. So this is exciting. Yep. Very, very exciting. Exciting. There's eggs in here, remember? My little, I'm just gonna sew this. I'm taking my square and a square block. I cut it off the end. I didn't sew all my pink squares. I sewed 4. No, I sewed 5. I only sewed 3. I'm gonna sew my square and a square on the other side. Okay. And then I'm gonna put a bonus block in there so that I know that I'm going to square. Then I'm going to sew some more of these strips on the top of these blocks. Center units, not the center block. Units. When we're done, we should have 9 different blocks, 4 of the corner units, 4 of the center units, and then 1 center block. Now it's going very well. I am very pleased with how this is turning out. I'm really liking it. Focusing, that's why I'm not talking to you. Okay, I will need to get rid of this design board because I will need a bigger one. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna cut these apart. Here coming my quarter square, my square. So we're gonna sew 2 more pieces on that. So let's do that. Let's trim these off, these corners off. There we go. All right, now we're going to press them. I'm pretty sure they just get pressed outwards. So press it out and press it out. Okay, it's going very well there. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? It's beautiful. Okay. It's like, why is that not linked? It feels funny. There we go. Okay, now we have to do the other 2 corners. So let's, oh, I only sewed 1 block. Oh my goodness. Okay. I didn't even realize I did that. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, see, I cut too many of those, but I can use them in a future block or something. I didn't even realize I wasn't sewing both blocks. Well, trying to get ahead, and I'm clearly not that far ahead. Okay, here. So this one on the other side. Super, super cute. Okay. I have another one to sew on here. Yeah. Let's just cut that one, get another one. So I still have pieces on my tray, and that's because I cut too many blocks. Because then I realized, oh wait, I don't need to cut 4. The cutting is for 2 blocks. I don't need to cut 8 of each for each block. I need to cut 8 total, 4 for each. So I had to adjust. And I did that after the fact. Okay. Gonna trim these off. Just gonna trim these off real quick. Then we'll set our seams and roll them back. Okay, set your seam. Roll it back, just kind of hold it there. There we go. 2 more to sew. Going to line it up on the bottom and on the side. And so on the line, if I drew the line, I would be on the line. I'm just going to shove 2 bonus blocks through. Oops. 2 bonus blocks through. I might have sewed those too close together, but anyways. This one is finished. This one needs one more. One more. So lining it up and sewing it quickly. Oh, my watch died. Oh, we're not doing too bad. We've been sewing for almost an hour and a half, so we're not doing too bad. Good job, everyone. Again, bonus block going through. And these blocks do take that much time because we're sewing live. This is how long it takes. And all our stuff was cut. So I don't know about you, but I spent, I don't know, at least half an hour, 45 minutes cutting with these blocks. Maybe longer, maybe shorter. I don't really remember. But I know it was quite, it wasn't quick. And I was contemplating, do I want to do this? And then I realized I was cutting too much fabric. And I was like, oh no, I don't need all that fabric for every block. And so that's something to note is in her pattern, she tells you what to cut for the 2 blocks that you need. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now these are supposed to be a set size. Oh, that one's nice and warm. Okay, I have a square that size. Okay. Ooh. I sewed a pink one on here. This one's pink, not blue background. Okay, I gotta change this one. This one is the wrong fabric. I'm trying to figure something like that could happen. So I'm gonna take this out, which just means I do have to take a little bit out on this corner, but that's okay. I can always fix that. It doesn't hurt the block. It won't hurt the block at all, but I did make a little error. So I have one block here with pink background. If I had done them all in pink, that would have been okay, but my pink was from my other block. It doesn't matter because I have extra, and I think I'm just gonna throw that away. I don't know what I'm gonna do if I don't like it. Throw it away. Okay. Okay, so this needs to be this purpley blue, and I need it to go. Okay, just think for a minute. Up here like this and like that. Okay, we're gonna sew it. Okay. Let's do a bonus block. I'll trim it first. I'm gonna trim this. Okay, that is just an extra piece. I'm not gonna need that piece. There we go. Okay, so these need to be this. Okay. So we need this size, and this is the exact size of my square. So I'm gonna just lay it on the square and hope that things line up. So a little bit on that edge and a little bit on that, and that's it. There's my center unit. I might put it that way so that the claws of the T-Rex, you can see them. How cute is that? Okay, then I'm gonna do the next one. Now my square to square are never ever perfectly perfect. They just aren't. And I should know better. Should just cut them bigger. Should just cut them bigger so I can square, when I square them up, they're gonna be more accurate. But that one turned out okay too. They're so cute. So if you're just joining, because I see some people just coming in, it is the Flower Farm Sampler from Shelley Cavanagh. You can buy the book wherever you buy your quilting books, and we're making block 5. And that's what we're working on today. Which way, I can't give you all the sizes and all the instructions and all of that, but her books are really clear and easy to follow. So I think you should be good. And I have all of the blocks that we've made so far, 1 to 4. You can catch how I made it live. on our YouTube channel, Quilts for Survivors, and you can just follow that and check it out, and they're there. So set that seam, roll it back. There is no live this week on the Quilts for Survivors Facebook group for the quilt that we're making with the Quilter on Fire, Brandy. She is away, so there will be no sew along this week. And there's none next week, and then there's none the following week. No. She's gone for 2 weeks, and then I'm gone. And there was none last week. So there's quite a few weeks with nothing. I think no, I think the 8th. I think the 8th we're doing one, unless I have my camper and I'm going away. But we'll see. Damn. Okay, now I'm gonna check the size of these. Again, I can't give you the size, but the size is in the pattern. It'll be really easy to follow that. Oh, hey, this is really close. Really close. Oh my God, that makes me so happy. I just had a little bit there. I almost threw that in my coffee. My cold coffee, mind you, but I almost threw it in my coffee. Okay. And then sometimes, because this is an exact size, right? I have to trim off, I have to move my block a little bit and trim. Now they are not perfect. They are not exact to the size that they need to be, but they are very, very close, very close. So I'm really happy with that. Brings me joy. Okay. Because sometimes you're going to look and you're going to go, hey, I'm just a little shy there. I am too, a little bit. But by checking, I know which ones are, and I can be like, hey, I know that there's one there that's really, is close to the seam allowance. So, do a scant seam allowance on that one. But for the most part, I'm getting better, and it'll work out. Maybe these weird wonky ones I should have made bigger somehow. Trying to get it so it's not so wonky. And just do the best you can. Line it up the best you can. When they're all hidden in the seam allowances, you're not going to notice much. And if back. If something's really off, adjust next time. Make another one. Learn from your mistakes. Okay, so these are our centers. So let's grab a design board. I love design boards. So I'm going to lay out one block at a time, just so that I don't confuse myself. Oh, that one I want. Oh, I want that to be the top. Not that it matters, but I did want that to be the top. Okay, so those go along the perimeter like that, so you kind of see. And then the center is this one, which makes up that's the one, makes up our little star. Check that out. And then our corner units. So 1, 2, 3. I don't think there's any dinosaurs in here. I think it's all just foliage in that particular cut. Okay, so now it's a 9 patch. We're just going to sew it like a 9 patch. And just be mindful of how your blocks go together. There is a little stretch to cotton, not a lot, but a little. Okay. And sometimes getting it, we can press it and press it, but sometimes it's not laying flat until we sew it together and line it up. So I'm going to start with one block, and then I'll lay out the second block. Like this. Watch what I use. I was cutting this fabric the other day, and my niece and nephew were here because I've been watching them in the morning for about, I don't know, half an hour. And then I take them to their camp, their little science thing. And they were helping me, and they thought it was really neat that their aunt was sewing a quilt with dinosaurs on it. Dinosaur pattern. They were like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm making this quilt with dinosaurs." Yeah, fabrics with dinosaurs. Why? Why not? Dinosaurs are cool. Okay, so now I'm going to lay out. Ooh, that looks cool. Okay, I'm going to lay this out. Okay, and I'm going to just lift that up and put that there. Oops. And my corner block and another corner block. Okay, now I'm going to sew this together. Okay, so we're going to make this work. This one is a little bit wonky, but like I said, is that? I think that part of that sewed funny. Okay. Oh, there we go. It's sewed together nicely. Very nicely, in fact. But I should have known to make my square a little bigger. So that it would come out more active. But I've heard lots of even people who I thought were really good sewers say, there's certain blocks that just maybe next time if I remember to make my square a little bigger, you can just trim down. So make the center, I guess it's where you can you make the center bigger? I guess. Because you're just gonna cut your corners off. No. Who knows? I'm always worried about making them a little bigger because then what if they alter the block and then it doesn't look the same or it doesn't, have all the things that hit it the same way. Okay, so I'm not going to press these. I'm going to leave them. I don't have my second set all laid out, but that's okay. I can add it after. Oh, I've got a bonus block tailing on here. Little hitchhiker. You're not part of this quilt there. All right, so now I'm going to sew the next part. Now, because these blocks are so big, I cut those threads that join them. I used to leave them all the time, and then I found out that I can sew better if that's not dragging on. Because then I'm just focusing on this. I don't have a bunch of extra pieces. And I can really focus. It's not in my way. And then I find that when I go to the next step again, I can really focus and I'm not worried about all that little string that's in the way. Not always, but sometimes. That is supposed to go. That is nice and okay. Just adjusting my seam because it wasn't laying the way it was supposed to and it wasn't flat. And I want it to be nice and flat. I think that was the seam we were supposed to press open and I chose not to, but I made it work. And at the end of the day, nobody better dare cut open my quilt to see what my seams look like. I'm going to sew a bonus block partly just to get rid of it. I can just sew this one. And I can cut this off actually, so it's not hanging in the way. I don't like having too much fabric hanging. I don't think it matters which way these go, but that's a guy. That's a dude. Oh, I can't put the dude. The dude's gonna be sideways. Doesn't matter what I do. Because if I put him here, oh no, here, he'll be a little better that way. Okay, because there's a dude there. Oh, I forgot to cut the threads. I think I just cut air when I first cut it. Okay, I almost have my 2 blocks done. Woo! 2 blocks in 2 hours. With one so far, one use of the seam rib. didn't even realize that that one had a face. I think it's a raptor is the dinosaur that's in there. I always liked dinosaurs. I don't think I've ever been super interested in dinosaurs. Like my kids, I've always liked it. And I just thought this was such cute fabric with the dinosaurs and the flowers and just the fun colors. And why not, you know? It's going to be a really cute quilt. And the Barn Star sampler that I made a couple years ago, I think it was finished last year. So we would like to have it hanging up in my office at the studio, and I love it. But it's gorgeous. I didn't quilt it; my friend quilted it, but I love it. I'm gonna do one more just because there are way too many sitting in there. Okay, just way too many. Okay, so now we're gonna open this up. I will show it to you because I didn't show you this one. And it kind of makes like a curve around it with that piece at the top. Isn't that the cutest? This is all background here. But isn't that cute? And the dinosaur eggs right in the center, where it all starts with the eggs. Excuse me. Okay, I guess I'm sewing this one first just because it's right there. And then you're just going to alternate those center seams so that everything nests. Okay? So let's go. Now you will notice sometimes these things just don't want to line up. Okay. I did miss that some of your blocks are right. Your center row is a little narrower than your upper row. A little bit of thicker seam. I guess that's just how you go around. Sometimes your seams will tell you how they want to lay. And my experience is okay, that's done. Let's cut that. Okay, I think it's okay. I don't think it's too. Nope, it's a little off there. It's just slightly off there, but it's nothing too serious, not enough that I'm going to rip it out. Let's do this next one. Almost one block. We'll have one block done. I'll just need a good press, and then we'll need to show it off. And nice. Okay. Beauty. I'm going to cut this thread because it's annoying. For no other reason than sometimes those joining threads make things lay weird, and I don't like that. So I will. Oh, that was a little tight there. It's okay. So far, pretty good. And lay this like that. Yep. Yep. If you are sewing along, I do appreciate it when you send me your blocks so that I can see that. That really brings me joy. I really like seeing it. I like seeing your color choices because I know some of you are using scraps and not a whole collection of a certain print or something like that. And that really really helps. Is running low. Okay. Oh, I'm running out of battery here, but we should be okay. We're almost done. Well, let's press this so that just in case you don't see the finished blue-green one, you'll at least see the finished pinky one. Let's give this a quick press. I can always press it better after. Okay. All right, so here is my finished dahlia block number 5 of the Flower Farm sampler. So that's one block. Let's see if we can get this other block done before the battery dies over there. I'm gonna cut this. Cut that. I'm gonna cut this off too because it just hangs there and it's annoying. Okay, let's get this done. Let's go. Right. Lining it up, getting ready to step on it. I don't know if I mentioned this, but everything is a 1/4 inch seam. It probably says that in her book somewhere. And I use a 1/4 inch foot, not one with a lip, just a 1/4 inch, just a plain 1/4 inch foot. And I use my diagonal seam tape. And that really keeps me accurate. That really, really keeps me accurate. Okay. I'm going to bounce block. Put these ones on. Okay. Then I'm going to open it up. It's looking great. Oh yeah, those seams are almost bang on. They're really close though. You can't. Okay, so this one, let's line everything up. Get it nice and accurate. Come on, nice flat. Okay. Stitching. Stitching. Oh, that's got to go on. Just watching that all my seams are nesting. I mean, sometimes you have to come back and just line everything up to make sure everything is a-okay. I think we're good there. And there. And one more short piece. Okay. Bonus block going in. Just one. I will sew the rest after. So excited. Okay. Cut that thread. Cut this thread. Okay. Let's set that seam. Roll it back. Set that seam. I don't have my larger iron plugged in. I didn't think I would need it. I figured I could get this pretty pressed. And I will square it up to 16.5. I will make sure that it's 16.5. Very, very excited. Okay, and my laptop hasn't died yet. The other camera's going fine. Uses definitely a lot less power. Okay, so there's block 1. We always make 2. There's a thread there. It's bugging me. Okay, try. Okay, there is block 1 in the blue, or block 5, 1 of 2 for block 5. I'm just going to repress this guy just to make sure everything is nice and beautiful. Okay, let's get a design board out here. This fits really nice. I have another big one. No, I have something on it. Okay, I'll put one. So I only have 2 of these big design boards and one of them has something on it. So there's the pink version of block 5, again, making 2 for the pattern. And then here's the blue-green. Same block, different colors, all the same pieces in the same places. Like the same fabric. How beautiful are those? I love them. And they look like a circle, like a dahlia. They look really cute and wonderful, and I love them. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm now going to go and sew all of these bonus blocks. And that's it for me this evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you had a good time as well. And again, if you need if you need to go back and you want to go back and watch the video, or go through it and get some pointers or some tips, or you just want to see how I did something, or if I explained something, it is on our YouTube channel, Quilts for Survivors, and I come live on TikTok as well. On TikTok, I think I'm the Quilter with a Heart of Gold, and you can just find us there. So thank you. Miigwech.